Hi, Peter Charles here, Folk to Fly, fly fishing. And in a previous video, I talked about bass and trout presentations with streamers, and I didn't really talk very much about topwater streamers. Really, this is what this is. It's a Bunny Gurgler, which is a standard gurgler. Only instead of being bucktail, it's done with rabbit, and you can see I've got a rabbit strip wing in here. And the whole idea behind the gurgler is it's a dusk to dawn type pattern where you're fishing slow pools. It's meant to imitate a small mammal moving slowly, letting it swing slowly with the current, making a very gentle wake. It's not a big, loud, splashy thing. It's to get those big fish that really are not super active during the bright, sunny part of the day. But when there's no light on the pool, either in the morning or in the evening, they start to get active. And that's the time to, swing something very subtle across the pool. Because, let's face it, if the pool gets hit a lot, they've seen pretty well every popper and, jitterbug and you name it. So for them, you want to be a little bit more subtle and give them something that's going to look pretty realistic. And you notice I've gone with browns here. I've not gone black. Dark brown is fine. And of course this will get darker as it gets wet. So you want to stay in those natural colors. And of course, early morning, late in the evening, it's going to look dark against the light sky anyway. So let's get started and look at the materials and see what it takes to, fish our Bunny Gurgler. Okay, the hook I'm using is a size 2 streamer. It's a 3 extra long. I won't go too long with this, but you do need some shank length. My thread is a Uni 6/0 in dark brown. We need some wire, so I'm using this small red wire. I'm not going too flashy, so I went with red simply to keep it not too bright. Any dark color will do. The body is uni mohair in beige. You could dub the body, you could use chenille, it doesn't matter. You just want something that's really fluffy, that makes it look like fur. We're using, of course, a rabbit strip, and I've got about 2 inches roughly of leather here. You don't want anything more than that. And I'm using brown foam for the body, and you can see I've rounded the end. And the point of rounding the end is to create a little bit of turbulence over the tail, to get the tail kicking around. So let's get started. Now we want to leave a bit of room at the front because we've got to tie on a lot of stuff there. So start a little bit further back away from the eye of the hook. Now we tie in our wire. Get it out of the way. Now our mohair. And what I tend to do with mohair is, because it gets a little ragged at the end, I try to trim off a bit of a tying in point so it isn't too ragged. Pull it back. Now we'll just work it all the way back. Right to the start of the gape. Bring it forward. Now what we're going to do with the mohair is we're going to bulk it up. And this is why I've got it in a bobbin, to make this part easier. Get it off the point of the hook there. So bring it forward, bring it back, and you want to get a bit of a taper going here. Just watch out for the hook point. So I'll bulk up the center of it, and then we're going to tie it off. Sweep it all back so it's not protruding forward. I'm going to clean this up. pull it back. Okay, now to put on our rabbit. Couple loose wraps to keep it. Make sure it's on top. If it turns a little bit, fix it. Bind it down. If you've got any stray hairs going forward, stroke them back. Now we're going to just put one turn of wire at the back to trap the rabbit. Okay, that's in there well. Now what we're going to do is try and spread the fur. Try and get this as even as possible. It's not critical that it's even, but you know, you can pick it out a little bit. So you try to get roughly equal amounts of fur on either side. Now we put our foam on and wiggle it up. Try not to trap fur. And sometimes it's better to, if you're finding the wire slippery, put a hackle pliers on it. Okay, if you found, oops, around the hook point. Snug it down. And if you find that you're not getting good coverage, just pick out a bit of fur. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to wind the wire around, and we're going to get the rabbit strip wing trapped by the wire, but not the foam. And if you're finding that you're getting fur trapped, pick it out. This is a tedious bit, you just got to work at it. This is where the rotary vise comes in handy. Okay, when you've got it to the end, take a moment to brush out your fur. Check to make sure you've got roughly equal amounts on both sides. Okay, now we're going to lash off our wire. Work your thread to the back. Okay, you can helicopter that off, but my thumbs don't let me, so I'll just come in here with nail clippers. Okay, now here's the last chance to really get your fur even on either side. So I'm going to pick it out, and if I find that I'm got some trapped, I'll come in here. There we go, that's what we're trying to get. And we got relieve that trapped fur. Now we pull this down and make a couple of wraps. Make sure it's nice and square. Okay, don't let that spin on you, keep it on top. Now what we're going to do is just bulk that, fold it back, and do the same thing. Now finally we're going to come in here and try and trim that level at the back. And if you're a little bit crooked, trim a bit more off. So now we whip finish. Keep an eye on your foam. You don't want it to twist around. Something else you could do is use half hitch tools and go in underneath. I'm trying to avoid doing that for a simple reason. When you have too much thread underneath this, it will cause this to kick up. So you'll get that effect. And what I've found is that if you have that sticking up too much, when you cast, it'll make it spin and it'll twist up your leader. So I try to get that to lay flat. You can still get your tippet in there with no problems, as you can see. There's plenty of room. So now all we do is drop some head cement on the bottom of our threads there and get rid of any stray bits of fur that may stick in the front. And there is our Bunny Gurgler, ready to catch either bass or trout. Just remember, slow pool, early morning, late evening. Just let it swing lazily in the current. And you just want it making a gentle wake, constant wake. And those big fish will just come up. So give it a try, the Bunny Gurgler. Cheers.